For the first time in my entire trading career, I ended off the month with a 100% win rate. 0 losses. So of course, I gotta make a video about it. So I made about 185k in July, and here's the crazy part. It was all done in just 4 trading days, and I documented it all on my second channel, Bread Trades. But before you assume it was luck, I'm gonna break down exactly what happened, what I've learned, and what most traders get completely wrong about winning streaks just like this. So here's my trading journal where I documented every single trade since the start of this year itself, right? So you can see I've had some profitable months before, but not like this. Like, just look at how crazy this is. This is the perfect month, baby. Like, this month just felt clean. I was so focused on execution, and I just had no stress, no revenge trading, none of that trading with emotions or rookie mistakes anymore, right? It's just clean execution. And the best part is that I took a week off in mid-July. Maybe that's why I actually came back with like a fresh mind. I actually went on like a trading retreat somewhere around here. If you guys have seen the last video, you will know what happened in there. The bows, hashtag the bows. Alright, so let me just quickly walk you through each of these 4 trades that made up this month. And more importantly, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to share one key lesson after each breakdown. These are the lessons that allow me to stay sharp and consistent throughout this entire month. So please make sure that you watch through the entire video. Watch to the end so you can take away all 4 lessons which I'm going to be giving you. And I'm going to give you like a bonus lesson at the end as well. Alright, so just do yourself a favor, learn how the professionals do it, and then go do it yourself. Alright, we are in right now. You know what I'm saying? Finally, boy, a good old trading opportunity. Big month thing, yeah? So what happened right here was that you can see we just got a market shift, right? Where GJ pretty much shifted bearish, right? The sentiment of the market has shifted from bullish to bearish. So right now we are trying to ride this wave to the downside, all right? So yeah, you can see once price pretty much blast right through this last higher low, it pretty much gave me confirmation that I should be looking for sales, right? Because like I said, order flow has shifted. So if I went down to the 15-minute time frame, you can see this is pretty much the last 15-minute lower high, right? So this is the swing range that we are playing within on the 15-minute time frame itself. Swing high, swing low, and then what happened was that I pretty much identified that price is part of this supply chain that we have right here. You can see price mitigated its previous supply, pullback. It failed to take out this low to create a new lower low though, right? Which means that it needs more liquidity, right? So where is it going to get that liquidity from, right? You can see it generates some liquidity over here at this lower high right here. Once again, inducing all the retail traders to enter for a sell right here, just for them to place their stop loss above these highs right here. Later on, what happened? Price pushed to the upside, swept those highs before we got price pushing to the downside. Okay, when this actually happened, I was like, cool. We got supply chain over here, and then we got a new supply zone that swept liquidity being formed right here. So I was very tempted to enter for a sell right here, but I know that, you know what, Brad? Patience is key, right? You gotta be patient to get the best entry, right? So I was like, okay, cool. You know what? I'm just gonna be zen. I'm just gonna do my own thing. I'm never gonna look at my charts at all. So I placed a sell limit order right here at the edge of the zone itself, at the edge of this supply zone that swept liquidity, right? So yeah, we just got tapped into the trade a few minutes ago, right? So let me just see how much we are up right now. Up about 4k at the moment, right? 5k actually, right? Nothing too crazy. Just about 5k right now at the moment. Okay, Brad, please don't jinx it. Okay, Brad, please don't jinx it. Bro, there's so many times where I jinx it and then price just fucking like for some miraculously reason, it just reversed and hit by stop loss, even though I was up like 50k, okay? So I'm not gonna jinx it whatsoever, alright? Shut up, bye. Yo, what the hell just happened? What is this absolute meltdown, bro? So I just got back from dinner and let me just look at the profits real quick, yeah? Holy shit, that's a big boy day. Bro, this is a big boy day. Oh my god, price is still crashing right now. Bro, do you want to see it? I don't think you can handle the sauce, buddy. Okay, let me just show you. There you have it, lads. We made about 71k today. Absolute monster of a trade. You can see we lost like 1.1k just now. You know what happened? I wanted to enter for a sell, right? But then I clicked buy accidentally. And by the time I close it, it was already like fucking down 2k. right? But whatever, man. We made 71k today, lads. 71k, big boy trade. So the first lesson I've learned is patience over activity, quality over quantity. You must understand that when July actually started, I did not trade at all, right? This was taken on 2nd of July, right? So I pretty much set out the first day, right? The first 2 days of the week, which was Monday and Tuesday, so that I could actually take this trade. And the thing is, so many traders get this wrong by trying to trade every single day. They think that the harder they work, the more time they spend on the charts equate to more money. But that's just not the truth. Instead, it's counterproductive. Because sometimes the most disciplined trade is no trade at all. It's generally just no trade at all. That is your edge. Your edge is sitting and waiting on your ass for your opportunity to come out. It's not trying to trade every single session, every single currency, and use every single strategy you have in your arsenal. To be honest, I used to be like you, right? I used to feel guilty if I don't show up and actually trade today. So as a result, I try to trade 24 hours from the time I wake up, trade the Asian session, then later doing the London session, and then trade the New York session again, and then I go to sleep, right? So a lot of times what happens is that I would just end up forcing a lot of trades just so that I could make money, just so that I could prove to myself that I'm actually not lazy. But now looking back, I just realized that, being patient and not taking any trades, it is part of the edge. Now bear in mind that I didn't stay off the market on Monday and Tuesday for fun. I did it because the conditions just weren't right. I just couldn't find any setup that aligns with my trade plan. And if you fire when the system doesn't align, you're just wasting bullets. Because bullets in this case is your capital. It's all about preserving your capital and ensuring that you have money to double up when you actually see an A+ setup, when you actually see something that looks very good and something that has a high probability of actually working out. That's what trading is about. It's about saving the bullets that you have for the targets that are actually worth shooting at. The targets which is jumping right at you, not the ones where it seems kind of hazy and it's kind of hard to see. And by the time I actually entered on this trade, I just knew for a fact that this trade was the one. And that level of certainty, that level of confidence and conviction is not something that you get if you are constantly rushing and you are constantly needing and you feel this sense of urgency to trade, you feel this sense of lack. No, it's something that you actually attract. Because when you actually know what you are doing on the markets itself, the high probability setups, they naturally come to you. You don't chase money, money comes to you. You attract it as a byproduct of your systems and your execution. So always remember, your system doesn't work every day. The market dictates when you should be striking, when you should be shooting your weapon. And this also means that it's not about the amount of hours you spend on the charts. It's not about how many trades you are taking per day. It's about making the right decisions that will actually make money. Because ultimately, that's our goal as traders, is to make money, is not to work hard. Like, yes, working hard in terms of studying, backtesting, and reviewing your data, it works. But it doesn't work if you are working hard on the charts, scanning for the wrong opportunities, right? So remember, your screen time is not correlated with your trading results, all right? If anything, it's inversely correlated. And then in this particular case, what do we have? We got price coming down here, sweeping this low here, and then pushing to the upside. Yeah, this is actually one of those scenarios where I actually enter for a buy. You know what? Let me just enter for a buy right here. And then this is where I can potentially target like this high right here. This will be a pretty good setup right here. Okay, so in this particular case itself, price came down to this point of interest here. It swept the available liquidity that we have below this swing low here, right? Swept those liquidity below this swing low. And then because of the fact that the internal structure is bullish as well, right? We are expecting price to continue bullish. So if I go down to the 5 minute, right? Like I said, if you look, this is where it gets really, really precise. Okay, a 5 minute, this is the internal structure, okay? So if I look at this, this would technically be the last break of structure, fractal break of structure, okay? This is the last fractal break of structure, which means that this right here, this one right here, this will be my fractal market shift, okay? So this is my fractal market shift. And then this is not only like a fractal break of structure, but it's also a liquidity sweep where price actually swept those equal lows right here. You can see it swept these nice little equal lows before pushing to the upside, right? Before pushing to the upside itself. Okay, so in this particular case, we got the liquidation over here. We got a fractal market shift. If you are aggressive, right, this is where it would potentially be a good time to look for longs. But once again, it depends on your trade plan, right? Your trade plan might say that you only want to enter if price respect a point of interest. In this particular case, price broke out of the point of interest, swept liquidity before it pushed to the upside. So this might not be a trade that is within your trade plan. If that's the case, do not take the trade, okay? Do not reward bad behavior. Do not reward undisciplined behavior, right? But if this is something that is, within your trade plan, you see that, okay, there is a fractal market shift, there is a liquidation right here, then yeah, by all means, you can look for longs right there. And then in this particular case itself, this is where you want to be conservative and pessimistic when it comes to a take profit, like I always say, right? So right now, we are not swinging for the moon, right? We are not thinking that, oh, price is going to come all the way up here. It could, it might, right? Maybe over the next few hours, it could, it might. But my way of taking profit has always been like, I just want to like secure my profits. And just take risk off the table, right? So in that case, you're most likely going to be at the next 15-minute demand, which will be like right here, okay? So this will be like a 1:2 hour trade. Obviously, this entry could be a lot better if you're like refining it on the lower time frame itself. Like if you refine it a little bit, right? This is a cute little 1:2 hour trade right there. Right now, price is pulling back. Obviously, price is going to pull back. Whoever thinks that price is just going to go straight up like that, you are absolutely delusional. Price is going to pull back, okay? And it's what we do when price is pulling back that determines whether we actually make money on this trade or we actually end up losing money and get out of a good trade. Like I said, the virtue that you want to develop is patience, is the ability to let the trade do its thing. You can see at this point of time, maybe I'm like, let me see actually. Okay, so I probably went from being up like 10K to now being up like 2-3K. At this point of time, I don't care. You can see I don't care because I'm not attaching the net P&L to my self-worth, to my ability to actually execute, to my judgment on this trade itself, right? To my trade ideal. Because once again, my hypothesis is that I'm entering right here. My stop loss is right here. If price comes down and stop me out, right, then my hypothesis is wrong, right? Then my trade idea is wrong. Then I'll move on to the next trade. But if my hypothesis is right, which I hope it is right, it's going to go up there and smash my TP right here. So anything that's going on in between right here is not my concern. It's not my concern because it does not validate or invalidate my hypothesis at all. It just doesn't tell me anything. Yeah, so like I said, guys, just fucking do nothing, man. And I know it's difficult to do nothing, but you just gotta do nothing. Like, you just gotta expect that pullback is gonna happen. It's the ebbs and flow of the market. It is part of the game. And then just be patient and let your trade do its thing. Because what's the alternative? The alternative is you get freaked out right here, and then you get out of the trade here. And then you get out of the trade, maybe you could have made 10K, right? That's the best case scenario. But if you get out of the trade right here, you could make like, 1K, 2K, okay? And then the next time, if you do this again, guess what? You're always going to be taking small profits and taking large losses. And that is how you become unprofitable in the long run, right? Because you get emotional and you interfere with your trades when you shouldn't do so, right? As simple as that, guys. But like I said, this is a skill that it takes a long time to develop, right? But I hope you guys get to that stage where you are patient, right? You are really detached from the outcome and you just fully focus on executing your trade plan to the best of your abilities every damn day. Boom! We finally smashed TP after so goddamn long. I had such a long day. It's like 11 PM right now. I decided to stay up for like a little bit more just so that I could watch this trade. Both of these trades hit TP. And we finally made it, right? So the first position scaled in with like 0.5%. The next position put another 0.5%. So total we were risking 1% on this trade itself. And we made a good old 52.8k on this trade itself. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. 52.8k. Caught out this trade live in front of hundreds of students inside the 1% club. It literally can't get better than that, guys. But yeah, you guys can literally see me inside the live trading session recording, literally calling out this trade, telling them, guys, I'm entering for the trade right now. And then after analyzing the charts for like 5 seconds, like you can see, that's just my human instinct, right? Like that's what happens when you get so good at trading, so bloody good that I have to hit a dance right now. That shit, I hit every bloody bit, man. The next one was a crazy one, bruv. Because I actually entered the trade live in front of all my students during our bi-weekly live trading session inside the 1% club. And on that day itself, I could have taken like a few more trades, but I just didn't. I know when enough is enough. I know when to actually stay out of the market. So what happened was that during like the live trading session, when I'm actually trading live, managing my multi-six figures account in front of people, I feel this pressure to perform. I feel this pressure to prove to them that I'm indeed actually good at my craft. So if that urge is not managed well, what happens next is that I'm gonna be ending up taking a bunch of low probability trade setups, right? But that did not happen during that live trading session because at a point of time, I just didn't give a shit about impressing people. I didn't care about showing people how good I was at trading. I just continued doing my analysis, continued prepping my charts, and when I saw an opportunity which screams at me and my gut feeling is telling me to enter, and my pattern recognition skills is lighting up telling me that this is something that I've seen 1,000 times and it's most likely gonna play out the way that I want it to play out, I just entered for the trade. Right, you can see I just entered so fast within like 5 minutes of recognizing the setup itself. And at a point of time, like I said, I just didn't care about needing to impress people. I just didn't care about proving myself or anything. All I cared about is really just executing my trade plan to the best of my abilities. And I cared about preserving my capital and preserving my month. Now, if I was not careful on that day, and I ended up taking like one average trade setup, one low probability setup, the next thing you know, that one low probability setup can wipe out 4 days of hard work, can wipe out weeks of hard work. Like there are months in this year where I'll make like 150k from trading, and then I'll end up giving like 50k back to the market because I was chasing like a dumb trade setup which was not in alignment with my trade plan. I was just making like stupid mistakes, honestly. So I told myself like never again, right? I just want to make sure that this month, every single trade that I take, it must check off all the entry criteria on my trade plan. And if it doesn't, I'll just not trade. I don't care about quantity. I don't care about impressing people. I just care about executing my trade plan. That's all it is. That's all it takes to become successful. And remember, you will never remember the trades that you skip, but you will always remember the trades that you force. So if you force a trade and you lose money and you crystallize the loss, it gets embedded into your subconscious, right? Which is why I just want to make sure that I don't force any trades whatsoever, right? Whatever trades that I take, it has to be something that follows my trade plan, and it has to be something that my gut feeling knows that it's gonna work. And if you saw the entire live trading session recording, you will see that there were other trades that I actually marked up, but I just didn't enter on them. I just passed on them because they were mid, like they were just not as high probability as the one that I actually entered on. And now looking back, I just don't regret skipping them at all, right? Because like I said, I'll be pissed if I forced my trades and I took those trades and then they end up losing money. And then I wouldn't have been able to have like a perfect month with like 100% win rate, right? So ladies and gents, always remember, do not force any setups whatsoever. Let setups come to you and just skip the setups if it's not worth taking. If it's mid, if it's low probability, if it's ugly, if it's uncertain, then just don't, bro. Like just don't. Just preserve your capital, preserve your bullets for the next setup which will actually make you money, which screams at you. Today we are trading against the trend. We are swimming upstream, boys. Today I'm going to be counter trend trading. I'm gonna be sniping for good old entries. So far this month, we are up and up. My profits is up. My health is up. My knowledge bank is up. So I'm feeling good, you know, because so far we have like 100% win rate. Today is like the second last day of the month itself. And I've already taken 3 trades so far. We won all 3. So we are on like a huge winning streak right now. I just want to end off this month with like a bang. That's why I'm entering for this trade right here. Okay, so let me just quickly explain. Like I said, my bias for this is very simple, right? No complicated lines, indicators, nothing on the charts, just blank, just trading based on 2 things: liquidity and timing. The first thing, liquidity. Okay, no, actually that thing, right? If you count imbalance as a thing, then you can count it as a thing, right? So liquidity, timing, and imbalance. The first thing, liquidity. If you look at the left-hand side that we have right here, what do we have? We got nice little equal lows, right? We got equal lows being liquidated. So we know that all of this is what? Good old stop losses. So right now, price is already sub those lows. All right, so liquidity check. Second of all, timing, right? So right now we are in a pre-London. We are heading into London session in about an hour or so. So I expect London liquidity to fuel price up. And we expect the trend to change from bearish, which was created during the Asian session, to bullish later on during the London session itself. And the third thing is imbalance. Imbalance is a huge one because imbalance allow us to spot the smart money footprints. All right, listen, very simple. In the market, there's elephants, right? Elephants stomping around, boom, boom, boom. Smart money is the elephants, all right? And they leave certain footprints. They leave certain clues for us retail traders to search, right? For the people who are willing to search and look closely, listen to what the market is trying to tell them. They're going to be very rich people. Yeah, they're going to be very rich traders, right? They're going to be printing money. Like you can see right here, guys, we would hit TP right there. Right, very, very nice. But hit TP, right? The market is playing nice right now. The market is not too crazy. And you can see price is exactly where we expected it to go, right? At this little imbalance right here. So, yeah, oh my God, price is reversing. Price is bloody reversing. No way. No way, bruv. You can see price literally reached to the imbalance and then started dropping. Crazy shit, bruv. Look at this, guys. I shit you not, man. Price went to our area of imbalance and started reversing. Right there and then. Right there and then. It literally touched our TP and then now it started reversing. Like, how fucking insane this shit is. Okay, but yeah, I'm just gonna be closing the trade manually very soon, bro. If price is not going up to slap my TP, I'm gonna slap the market in the face and I'm just gonna slap my open position into non-existence, into space, into a black hole or something, right? This is what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, right? I'm going to slap the market. Oh, the market is starting to get a little bit excited the moment it hears that I'm going to be slapping it. Man, the market is a dirty little bitch. Look at this, look at it. It's getting a little bit erected right now. It's getting a little bit excited, right? You can see, the minute I said that, it started going up. And bam, there we go. We have gotten out both of our bloody positions. And of course, why haven't we hit TP yet? Look, bro, the spreads are actually crazy. 198.017. Spreads are crazy, bruv. You know, I'm just going to close it manually, man. I'm tired of this thing, man. I'm tired of the market playing with me, guys. Right now, price is all the way up here, and I'm still not out of the position because of bloody spreads, man. I told you. All right, but you know what? Let me just manually close this shit right now, man. I'm not trying to get greedy. Oh, look at how satisfaction that sound is. You know what sound is that, mate? The sound of victory, mate. There we have it, guys. Classic little trade. 30K, nothing too crazy today, right? But I was just adamant on maintaining my 100% win rate. And I was not willing to sacrifice that for more profits, to be honest with you, right? Like I said, man, the champion does whatever he wants, all right? So even though I didn't make a lot of money on this trade, I ended up only making like 30K, I realized this one important lesson. Your entry is your defense. Because if I force an entry way too early and I don't have like clear confirmation or clear confluence, what happens is that I'm gonna be exposed. I'm going to be exposed to the market and I don't have any conviction and confidence in holding the trade because I did not wait for my confirmation to actually appear before I actually enter for the trade. But however, if I wait for further confirmation, wait for other confluences to line up to back up my trade ideal, then even if I get tagged onto the trade, I'm going to be calm. I'm going to be confident. I'm going to be trading the outcome with equanimity because I actually followed my trading rules. This is what I mean when I say that your entry is your defense. How you actually enter the trade dictate the trade outcome, dictates your emotional states when you're in the trade itself. And that has a direct correlation with your trade outcome. Because if you're in a bad emotional state, you're anxious, you are not confident that the trade is going to go in your way, then guess what? You're going to get out of a good trade just to see the trade go in your way. However, if you are entering the trade and you're feeling this sense of undeniable confidence, you're trusting your analysis, then you're more likely going to hold the trade all the way till its TP. And then you're going to make a lot of money. And a lot of times we enter way too early because of fear of missing out. You must understand that fear of missing out is just fear in disguise. It is not confidence. It is not your gut feeling asking you to get into the trade. And I used to convince myself that I had to get in or I'll miss the move. And now looking back, I just realized that the ones that actually actually get away were never mine to begin with. When you start being okay with missing trade opportunities, and you fully embrace the fact that you don't need to trade every day, you don't need to take every single setup that you can spot on the charts, that is where you can start feeling more calm, more collected, more in control of your trading. And that is where you'll stop chasing price. Like I said, you'll stop actually chasing the setups and just thinking that, oh my god, no, and trading in this like frantic mentality. Instead, like I said, you'll be calm, bro. You'll be rational, you'll be logical. Like for example, when I let this trade come to me, and it did, I felt in control. If it had gone without me, then I would still feel good knowing that I didn't force trade. I didn't force myself to get into the trade because I felt the need to actually enter. I felt the need to actually make money. And as a result, I neglected my trade plan. No, I didn't do any of that. I'll just let it go, right? Whatever is meant to be is meant to be, right? That's all it is. Like if you're meant to actually take that setup, then you would be in the setup. If you're not meant to take it, then you're not. That's just how life works. That's just how the markets work. So do not be pissed off at the market, and do not be too hard on yourself and just constantly blaming yourself for missing the trade setups. When in reality, you are missing trade setup every single minute. You're always going to be missing trade setups. It's all about identifying the setups that actually work, the setups that actually are high probability, aligns with your trade plan at the time that you are actually actively trading. And then when those setups appear, you just take them trade, right? And if they don't, you stay out of the damn market. As simple as that. Let me just explain to you guys why I actually entered for this trade, right? Because honestly, I just wanted to show you the art of scalping with precision. So just now around 3:30 p.m, what happened was that price that came down here mitigated this demand that we have on the left hand side, and then it started going up, right? So that is where I know for a fact that there is still more room for price to drop, since this is just like a 1 minute very refined zone which is not going to hold its weight right here, right? So this demand that we are seeing over here, it's short-term demand just so that price can pull back to the nearest supply. So I pretty much waited for price to pull back to the nearest supply, waited for price to actually took out the available liquidity above this swing high here, above this internal high here, and also above this internal high right here, before pushing to the downside, right? So I didn't enter for a sell right here because what happened is that if my hypothesis was wrong and there was in fact a lot of demand at this area, what could happen is that price could just do this, right? So I wanted to wait for further confirmation, further evidence, and that only come in the form of like a bearish candle just like this, which indicates selling pressure, right? So the minute I identified my liquidation candle and I saw the next candle was bearish as well, that is where I actually entered for a sell right here. Okay, so at first I wanted to take profit at this zone right here, right? But later on, as I saw there was a lot of momentum pushing price down, I actually decided to take profit at the middle of this extreme zone instead. Okay, but looking at where price is right now, should have taken profit at the edge of the zone itself, but it is what it is, right? I still think that price is going to come down to this area right here, right? There is still more room for price to drop. The reason why we are seeing a bunch of demand right here is because once again, this is the extreme demand zone, right, which has to hold. So if you look at the left hand side, we got what? Equal lows, building up available liquidity below these lows right there. Later on, price come down, swept those lows before I push up, and then later on, price came down, mitigated this institutional zone before pushing to the upside, right? So the next time price actually came down here into this next unmitigated demand zone right here, obviously there's gonna be demand at this price point because that's the price point that smart money deem as cheap to buy JPY. Boom! Alright, so I just got off a call with my software developer and we hit TP. Damn, life couldn't get better than that, right? So yeah, like I said, this is what happens when you guys trust your analysis and you guys understand how the market works, baby, right? Sniper precision, look at the entry, couldn't get better than that. So today we caught a quick little 1:5R, not too shabby, right? This month we are already up like 12R at the moment. There you have it, fam, 32K, baby. This month we took about 2 trades and we won both. 100% win rate type shit, you know what I'm saying? Professional gambler type shit in the building. Look man, I'm not trying to jinx it whatsoever, But that's what you get when you are radical. Hashtag radical in the chat right now. Now, this crazy liquidity trade which made me 32k taught me that the moment you stop second guessing is the moment your system starts working. This trade wasn't emotional whatsoever. It was mechanical. It was systematic. And that only happens when you trust your framework, you trust your trading plan like muscle memory. I entered for this setup because I've seen this setup play out 1,000 times by now throughout my entire trading career. And that only comes from experience. That only comes from data. Remember, confidence comes from data. Confidence comes from competence. If you can actually develop the undeniable confidence by doing the work, by gathering as much data as possible about your trading strategy, then you will be able to find out what works and what doesn't work. What are the setups that are worth taking? What are the setups that are not worth taking? And what are the conditions that you should be engaging in, and what are the conditions that you should be staying out of? What is your trading style? What is the best time to trade? What time is liquidity stepping into the market? All of this stuff can only come when you actually have sufficient data, and you're only able to gather sufficient data by putting in the work, by keeping the promises that you make to yourself, by journaling, by recording your trades, by reviewing your trades and seeing what your best trades have in common, your losing trades do not have. Like I said, it all comes from data and reviewing the data. If you can just do these two things well for years, bro, you're gonna get ahead of 99% of traders out there. Because 99% of traders are traveling down the path of least resistance. They're not doing the work. They're not gathering data. They're all too lazy to gather data. They're all too lazy to backtest 1,000 trades. The bar has never been lower. It's so much easier to be better than the majority. You just have to do what's necessary. You just have to do what others don't want to do, just so they can get the results others won't get. Remember, discipline isn't sexy, but it pays the most. Most traders that are constantly strategy hopping and looking for these new setups, new fancy indicators. But the thing is, I've been trading the same setup for months, for years now. I've been using the same liquidity entry model for more than 12 months. That is why I say that you don't need more setups, you don't need more indicators or more strategies. You just need mastery over the strategy that you are using right now, over the setup that you're identifying right now, and over yourself, over your mind. Alright, the finest bonus lesson I want to share with you today is 100% win rate system isn't something that you aim for. It's a byproduct of executing your system, following your plan, constant discipline, knowing not to trade every single day. It's the byproduct of years of hard work. Bear in mind that I've been trading for like 6 years, near 7 years now. And this is the first month I actually got 100% win rate throughout my entire trading career. How absurd is that? How crazy is that? Like I said, it's all about experience. It's all about gathering as much data as possible. It's all about letting time compound your knowledge about the markets, compound your experience. So do not rush the process. Like I said, always just focus one step at a time, one trade at a time. Eventually, you will be able to reach the month where you are making 6 figures, like what I've dreamt of 6 years ago when I started. And now I've accomplished it. Right? But like I said, it takes a lot of time. But yeah, this month wasn't about being perfect. I didn't start out this month thinking that I was gonna get like 100% win rate. I just started out this month with the intention that I'm gonna be super disciplined. I'm going to be focused. I'm going to obey my rules and follow my trade plan every single day. And just by doing that, just by focusing on the process, I managed to actually get the outcome faster. I managed to actually get the 100% win rate. I managed to end off the month with over 185k, which is also like one of the months this year that I made like the most amount of money, right? Crazy month. Like I said, it all came from just executing your plan to the best of your abilities and just showing up every single day so that you do not miss a lucky day. And by the way, it's not a coincidence that all my wins on Wednesday. Wednesday is my day, right? Wednesday is the day where, based on my data, I found that it's the most profitable for me, right? So as a result, I tend to trade on Wednesday more compared to Friday and Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, so on and so forth. Okay, so if you've enjoyed this video, I want you to go down and comment which one of these 4 lessons hit the hardest for you, right? Which one is your aha moment, your eureka moment? And I'm gonna be replying some of the comments. All right, so if you want to learn about how I actually achieved such a massive win rate, such great trading results in 1 month, check out my free course right here. This is like a 10-hour long trading course which teaches you everything you need to know about market mechanics, which is the strategy that I specialize in. Right, with that said, remember, you're just one trade away.